it doesn't get better, and that's what makes it worse. So guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be covering Desperate Housewives season 1, and for each episode of this series I'm gonna be doing my hair and makeup like one of the housewives. So today we're doing Gabrielle Solis. Let's start with the main plot. So Desperate Housewives, right, is a show all about each of these housewives. They're all desperate for a reason. They all live in the suburbs. They all do kind of different things. They have different backgrounds. But the first housewife that we're introduced to is Mary Alice. And Mary Alice is the narrator of the show. She's the one who does all the intros and stuff. Like, she's our main source of information. She's an omnipotent narrator. She knows all. So I would like to start including word of the days in my videos, because that's what I do. Like, every time I learn a new word, I just add it to my vocabulary. And I learned that word last year in my English class. We were doing Pride and Prejudice, and our professor was telling us about what it means to be an omnipotent narrator. So that's how I learned that word. And yeah, that's what Mary Alice is. So Mary Alice starts the show by unaliving herself. Sorry to say, but that's what she does. And so the way how they find her is because the neighbor, Martha Hewer, who's the messiest girl in the land. At this time, she's messy. There's just no other way to put it. Martha Hewer is mad messy, and she loved drama. So she went to go return Mary Alice her blender, because when she first moved in or whatever, I guess they got friendly, and she borrowed her blender that she had for months, and she just now took them out. Let me go return it. So she goes to return it. No one's answering. She's like, where is homegirl? So she goes to look in her window, and she sees that homegirl's on the floor, sprawled out. And I'm like, mind you, I started watching the show because I seen it on Hulu. I didn't have nothing else to watch. I wasn't doing nothing else. I was like, let me try this show out. Girl, ever since then, I've been hooked to that show. So yeah, Mary Alice, she's gonzo. Martha Hewer sees her. She's like, oh my god, Mary Alice. She calls the police. Everybody finds out. All her friends, which is our main cast. We get introduced to all her friends, which is our main cast at this point. All her friends are like, oh my gosh, how could we not have noticed? What were the signs and stuff like that? How come we didn't know she was unhappy? Somebody wrote that letter to Mary Alice. We're trying to figure out who wrote that letter as we're getting introduced to all these characters. And we get introduced to each of these characters at a funeral. No more bad the week. We get to meet our new characters at the wake. So each character comes out of their house with their husband or without their husband, and then so we get our intro. So we learn about Susan, Lynette, Bree, and Gabrielle. And these are the girls that we're gonna follow mainly throughout the show. Let's start with Susan. Susan Meyer. Susan Meyer is a divorced single mom at this time. And I'm not making this face because she's a divorced single mom. It's the way how she acts that just strikes a nerve, if I'm being quite frank. So Susan Meyer is she's clumsy, she's ditzy, she's all over the place, but she's also very cute and stuff. So even though she's a mess. She's just like a cute mess. And so her like being a mess is like not that bad in the first episode, but it doesn't get better, and that's what makes it worse. So they talk about how she can't cook, how she met her husband, her ex-husband, Carl Meyer. She met him. They moved in together in the suburbs. He's a lawyer. Ironically, he's a divorce lawyer. Ironically enough, the man is a divorce lawyer. So they moved in together and stuff. And I think it was like too salty the night they moved in together. Watery the night she found lipstick on his collar. And burnt when he left them. And when I say them, I mean her and her only daughter, Julie. So Julie is a big part of Susan's life and her story. So Susan has a really hard time being like more of a mom figure to Julie. Like, she still parents Julie here and there, but she really like treats Julie more like one of her friends. Like, she really treats Julie like one of her friends, but she also parents Julie from time to time. It's very confusing. Like, Julie more parents her, if I'm being quite honest with you. Julie's more of her parent, and her and Julie have like this best friend daughter, but also daughter that parents her mom kind of relationship. It's like kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. So they go to the funeral together, because you know I told you the man that's her ex-husband now. So they go together. Now the thing you have to know about Susan is Susan has been single for a couple years now, or a couple months, something like that. Susan's been single for a little while now. She's not ready to date. She hasn't met anybody that she wants to date, which is good, because as you get to know Susan more, this was a time like she could have been getting to know herself more, because Susan doesn't really spend a lot of time alone. She spends way more time with people than she does alone. And when I see people, I mean men. She has her friends and stuff, but I'm not gonna say she's awful friend. She's not an awful friend at all, but she's also not the smartest friend either. At times, a lot of the time, every time. I just feel like she's like a mess, and that's okay. But yeah, Susan is like the damsel in distress feminine energy. They call it light feminine. I'm just gonna say damsel in distress. She's more of the damsel in distress energy archetype. Always falling, needing help, stuff like that. So she meets Mike at this funeral, and Mike is like her main man. This is her main man throughout the show. It's Mike. So she meets Mike. She tells Mike not to eat the macaroni because it's bad. I don't know why she brought the macaroni to the wake, I mean. When she know it's bad. Like, when they say it's bad, like, I mean bad. He said it was burnt and overcooked at the same time. So I don't know what that tastes like, but I don't think it tastes good. And or whatever meat, she likes him, but the problem that Susan has is that Susan just would not be confident enough to just go up to Mike and make it known that she wants him. But her counterpart Edie, who I have a theory that Edie and Susan are really the same person in different fonts. Like, they're opposites that are super alike. They be like going at it, but I feel like they're similar. Like, in a way, Susan, Mike, they get together. She has a hard time with him because she's in competition with Edie for Mike, because Susan sees that Edie likes Mike, and she knows that Edie can have men whenever Edie wants, but Edie doesn't have men for the same reason why Susan wants to have a man. Edie's more like, she just wants to have a good time and call it a day. Even though Edie does want love, but not with every single prospect. But she does really like Mike. She does want love with Mike. However, she notices that Susan also wants the same thing, and they just compete for it. But instead of Susan realizing that Mike liked Susan a lot more than he liked Edie, she automatically assumes that Edie has already won, and now she has to fight back. And by doing this, she causes way more issues between her and Mike. Like, she puts gravy behind her ear to get Mike's dog to like her, Bongo, to get Mr. Bongo to like her. And then the dog ends up eating her earring and choking almost to death. And then, yeah, so then she basically messed it up with Mike in that moment. And then she's like, Mike, is there anything I can do to fix this? And he's like, no. And he goes to the vet with his dog, and she comes and apologizes. And like, stuff like this happens all the time. She does something like absolutely crazy, and then it's like, sorry Mike, can I fix this? And then Mike is like, okay. And sometimes Mike is like, no, bro, there's nothing. Like, but the things that she does is not just like regular things. Like the time she found Mad Money in his house, and then she basically like sold him out to the cops. Like, she was over here in his house. She was supposed to be either watching his house or watching the dog. And instead of doing that, she wandering around. She see a gun and Mad Money, and instead of being like, let me mind my business, because I don't know what this man got going on. He told me to watch his house, rah, rah. Instead of doing that, she reports him to the police. I'm like, Susan, how you say you... Yo. And then she's mad at him for not telling her about the money or whatever, or that he had a criminal record. But I feel like at this point, she had already started so much mess between them. He didn't even really have a chance to like open up to her about these things. Also, he just moved there. They just started seeing each other. I don't really understand why. Like, I just don't really know why he would have told her that. If I'm being like quite frank, I can't, like, I don't know why he would share that information so early. Mind you, this is only season 1. This is only season 1. There's like 22 episodes per season. So for him to, it's only season 1, and she just is all over the place all the time with him. All over the place. But truth be told, they are the cutest couple when it comes to all of Susan's like love interest throughout the whole show. They're the cutest. I think he understands her the best. He tries, but he finds himself in some trouble too. Well, as you can see, like, you know, he finds himself in drama too. He's like mysterious, and she's like an open book. I also feel like that works for them though. Like, even though she has a hard time with it, I feel like it works for them though. Like, they're cute about it, and I think that's so cute. So yeah, Susan has a hard time being alone, because even when she's single, she still has Julie mind, you know. And Julie be giving her the tea on her dad, because, you know, they're divorced. So Julie goes to her dad sometimes, but, you know, Julie's really a mommy's girl. So of course Julie won't tell her mom the tea about her dad and his new girlfriend or whatever. Of course she is. That's what she gonna do. That's her mom. So yeah, that's Susan. That's as much as I can tell you guys about Susan for season 1. As much as I can tell you without getting into the rest of the seasons and stuff. So we're moving on to Lynette Scavo. Now, Lynette Scavo used to be a boss babe. Like, when I say boss babe, I'm talking corporate ladder queen. Lynette was climbing the ladder when it came to advertising and marketing. And that's kind of something I want to do too. I'm interested in marketing and advertising, but I don't know if I'm as into it as she was. Like, I would want to do maybe something different. But I did like that she was like really into that. Like, she went and got her degree and she was doing her thing, you know? But she meets her husband, Tom Scavo, and she meets Tom in advertising as well. So they already, you know, share something very important to her in common, which is her career. So she's like, you know, she likes him, he's cool, she's feeling him, rah rah. And they decide to get together, move to the suburbs. She's still doing her thing, he's still doing his thing. And then she gets pregnant. She gets pregnant with her first. I believe twins were her first. Yeah, she gets pregnant with her first, the twins, Porter and Preston. And when she gets pregnant with Porter and Preston, this is when Tom takes his opportunity to get his stay-at-home wife that he's been wanting from Lynette. He tells her, hey Lynette, maybe you should stay home and take care of the kids, and it'll just be better for them. You know, kids do super well with the stay-at-home mom. And then Lynette's like, give up my career for kids? I don't really know about that, but she does it anyways. They end up having twins. She gives up her career for the twins, and then she gets pregnant again with another boy, Parker. Now she's pregnant with Parker, and she's home again, and Tom is in the field, and she's home, and she's just not having as much joy as she used to have when she used to be out there in the field, you know, doing her thing. Because remember, like, as I told y'all, this is her thing. Like, she don't play when it comes to that. So the fact that she's not in her element anymore, and she's like super stressed with all these kids, because them 3 boys is a handful. Like, them 3 kids is bad as hell. They do not listen. So she's having it a really hard time, and Tom is traveling back to back. This man is in Florida, Mexico, all these other places. He's all over the world. He's Mr. Worldwide, and she's here with these 3 boys, and they're young boys. Like, they're not grown. They're not grown, like, at all. In no way, shape, or form these little boys grown. So she had to deal with these young boys all by herself, and it's really, really hard for her. Because remember, she wasn't planning on being a stay-at-home mom. She wanted to climb the corporate ladder, as I said, and do her thing from there. So this is like, it's not her. It's not what she wanted. And it's sad to see her go down in that way, especially when you know this is not what she wanted. But she, you know, it's her husband. She loves him. She loves those boys. But it's hard for her, you know, super hard for her. And I just feel like Lynette is the most, ooh, the hair came out cute. It's cute. Wait, what do you guys think? I think it's cute. I don't know if it's giving Gabby, but it's as close as I can get. But yeah, Lynette, it's just a lot with her and Tom and all these kids. Like, she's just super overworked, and they don't really focus too much on her in season 1. They mainly focus on Gabby and Bree. These are like the main two characters of season 1. Susan and Lynette are kind of like more background. Susan and Lynette are more like background characters at this point. So now we're gonna move on to Gabrielle. So at least we'll do Bree last. So in this season, we meet Gabby, we meet her husband Carlos. Gabby and Carlos are a very attractive couple. They're super attractive because they're just both really good looking. Carlos is extremely successful. Gabby's a former model. And together they're just kind of like a power couple on the block. Many people are jealous of, I wouldn't say jealous, that's a good word. Many people admire Gabby and Carlos, kind of. They're crazy, but you know, they work really well together. Like, to me, out of every couple on the show, they belong together the most. And I just really like that. I just really like them. They're cute, but again, not the most healthy couple, if I'm being quite frank with you. Because again, we're talking about Gabby, and she is pretty selfish in these earlier seasons. If I'm being honest with you, she's very selfish, and she doesn't take time to think about other people. She mainly considers her own emotions first. She's just generally selfish, and it sucks because she still is my favorite, but just not at this time. At this time in the show, I'm not really feeling her too much. Are y'all true match? I believe. We're using this because Gabrielle's skin is pretty flawless. She's a model, so she's very good at the everyday makeup. And I like this foundation. It's very light, full coverage. It's nice. So yeah, they basically have kind of a distant relationship at this point because he's always working. Just like Tom, he's always working, but she don't got no kids or nothing. So she gets bored super duper easily, and because she gets bored, she decides to have an affair. And the affair is kind of her way of sabotaging her relationship without like outright doing it. And she does this because she really wants to be intimate with Carlos. However, she's scared of intimacy because of her childhood wounds, and she's more of the seductress in the feminine energy. Oh, I forgot to say what Lynette's feminine energy is. It's kind of hard for me to say because it's almost like she doesn't really have a lot of it. But when she does express her feminine energy, she's more like the dominant. I don't want to call her dominatrix, but she's very like dominant. Like when she goes out to the bar with her boss and stuff like that. I think that's the later season. My bad. But when she goes out to the bar with her boss and she's like dancing on tables and stuff, being sexy, I feel like that's her like feminine energy coming out. That sexy, dominant side. But Gabrielle is definitely more seductress all the way. All the way Gabby's a seductress. She uses her feminine looks to her pure advantage. Every time she needs something, every time she wants something, she knows that she can get it. Because of how she looks, because of how she acts, how she talks. And they even say that Gabrielle knows all men are the same, so she already knows what she's doing. For her, it's nothing. It's nothing to get a man, but where she struggles is being intimate with them. She doesn't like being vulnerable with them. We only seen her get vulnerable with Carlos after so many years of them being together. She's never that vulnerable, especially not up front. Especially not up front. Yeah, so at this point, Gabby's pretty shallow. We don't really know too much about her and her past. All we know is she was a model. She had a very big party life. She enjoys really nice things. She likes luxury. She lives in luxury. And she appears to be a bit vain compared to the other girls. But as we see later on, Gabby has some really deep layers. But in this season, she's pretty selfish. She has this affair. She disrespects the man that loves her the most. And it's just not good. But Carlos is also not the best in this season either. He's pretty toxic actually towards her. He's very like macho masculine at this point. Very much do what I say, or I'm gonna buy you gifts to keep you from complaining. I know I'm not here, but I'm not here because I love you. That type of thing. He a little bit neglects Gabby, but Gabby kind of just take it too far. So her makeup is like super soft. So when I put back on my powder and stuff, I'm gonna put on a lighter blush after this. Because Gabby's makeup is very delicate, but also very pretty. It's pretty delicate and dramatic at the same time. She has that edge to her where, you know, she's a beautiful woman, but you know not to mess with her. So first I'm gonna go in with the black, just tight lining and stuff. Alright, so this is what we have so far. And then, okay, this is what we have for eyes. I think we can go sharper and darker and a little bit more sexy. I think we can do it. She just kind of messes with their whole thing. Like, I don't know, they were going good, but because she was bored, she kind of just dragged it. Like, I don't know, she was too scared of intimacy in the first place, and that's what really messed them up. She was scared of getting deep with him because her life was kind of hard, and the men in her life they wasn't for her, respectfully. Like, and her mom wasn't there for her either. It was just a hot mess. So Gabby Lore, save Gabby Lore for another day. But yeah, she just has a really hard time with intimacy, so she goes with John. But the thing is, see, John is underage, and it's just like not a cute situation whatsoever. It's just not cute. Yeah, they just kind of, they don't ever gloss over it. They bring it up a lot actually, and it comes up especially when where the fuck should I really kind of want to humble Gabby and say, hey, we know you're still not innocent, girl. We know you did that to that boy. They don't care about that. So that's good, but you know, nothing ever really happens to her for that. She just kind of gets like hated by the mom of the boy. Because again, he's a child and she's a grown adult, and it's just kind of like weird. Very weird. I did not like this song, but as a result, you know, her and Carlos' relationship take a big hit. Because again, she cheated on him, and he has sacrificed everything to be with her. Everything. He works so many hours and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily on his side though, because he does something like messing with her birth control at this time because he wants a kid. But when they got married, he agreed that they weren't gonna have kids because she didn't want kids, and he basically lied about that because he wanted kids and he was gonna get kids out of her no matter what. He figured that As time went on, she would change. He saw she wasn't changing. He was like, I need to make a change, girl. I want these kids. And you won't give me these kids. But you know her, she ready to jump ship. She said, kids? Anybody having no kids, and how you know it's yours? I've been with another bookie. I just put powder like around my under eyes and stuff because I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. And then I'm gonna put some brown powder all over the rest of my face. So yeah, that's pretty much Gabby in this season. Yeah, she just she's not the best character at this point. She's my favorite, but not here. At this point, she's really not my favorite. Now, Bree Vandergap is super fun in season 1. She's still married to Rex at this point. She has her 2 kids, Andrew and Danielle. Yeah, so Bree has Andrew and Danielle. These are her 2 kids. For Gabby's makeup, we're gonna do like a reddish brown lip combo. I'm gonna be using red lipstick and brown gloss and a dark cherry lip liner. So Bree Vanderkamp has her 2 children. She married her college leader, Rex Vanderkamp. They're very conservative, but their kids are quite problematic. Okay. Rex and Bree have a cold relationship because Bree is like super duper perfect. She's one of the best housewives in terms of like an actual housewife. She's a housewife. That's what she do. She's perfect. She cooks, she cleans, she keeps herself very emotionally controlled. She's very tight with those feelings. She's not like an open book. You don't really know too much about Bree. You don't know none of her business. She don't like none of that shit getting out. This is super red. Ooh, I really look like Miss Solis right now. Guess we're gonna have the brown now. This is it. Let me show you guys the lip gloss. I think they're both NYX. Yes, they are. This is NYX Turn Up Lipstick, and this is NYX Butter Gloss. They're both NYX, and it matches my shirt. So yeah, so Bree, that girl don't play. Okay, she don't want no part in her business. We're making it to camp. Okay. Nobody put her. Not her kids, not her husband. No. She don't play that shit. So Bree basically is a 1950s housewife. She's very into her stuff. She likes to cook. She likes clean. She likes orderly. She don't want no drama outside the crib. There's a lot of drama going on in her house. You don't need to know that. So Bree is often seen as one of the best housewives because of this. She's very traditional to her core. She's firm. She's in the NRA. Something with the guns. She's like a Republican. She's very conservative. She don't play. She don't play. And wait, let me let you guys see the makeup though. Am I giving Gabrielle Solis? Is it giving Gabby? Carlos, I told you not to do that. Pretty girls don't stay lonely forever. So yeah, she really doesn't play, honestly. I think she's super funny. She tries to keep her kids in check, put their kids in check, but you know, they're very rambunctious. Danielle is quite promiscuous. Andrew is secretly gay, and it just is a lot for her because she doesn't want that, you know. That's you don't align with her Republican values. She just wants her daughter to be happy. She just wants her son to be happy. She doesn't want them to be self-destructive, but they quite frankly are very self-destructive. I believe in this season, Rex dies. Towards the end of the season, he dies, and it's just super sad for Bree because Bree is, even though he cheated on her and stuff like that, he was a doctor and he still gave her a very long, successful marriage up until this point. He was kind of critical of her though. He didn't really believe in her more than a housewife. He kind of just saw her as a housewife. They try and go to couples therapy and the therapist eats him up. He's like, do you ever acknowledge that Bree is that girl, basically? And Bree's like, and he's like, no. And he just is not with her, like he's just not rocking with her. And it's kind of sad, you know, when he dies, because that's Bree's only husband and only man at this point. Like, I think she had maybe like 2 other boyfriends, but this is her main man. Like, this is her husband, so she's very upset about it. She doesn't want to show any like emotions because his mom Phyllis comes into town, and Phyllis is a handful. It's hard. It's hard for Bree with Phyllis. She's quite a handful. She's the opposite of her. Very emotional. She's just at Rex though, very critical of Bree. Always throwing jabs at Bree. That's what Rex should throw jabs at Bree. It's very rude. And yeah, she has to deal with all that while taking care of her husband's funeral and still remaining emotionally strong. And it's such a hard thing to watch because Bree really does try for her, but it is very hard for her. And it's just, it's tough. It's tough this season watching it. We really see some cards that we don't want to see at this time. But you know, Bree starts doing something new, you know, after her husband passed, but we'll get into that when we talk about the season 2 video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys like the hair and the makeup and the like sweater, because this is supposed to be like my Gabrielle Silky set. I hope you guys like it. I love it. I think it's really cute. I don't often wear red lipstick. I wear red clothes sometimes. A lot of times actually. Red, pink, black, and blue. Those are the colors you'll see me in the most. And brown. Lots of browns. Especially red and brown. That's a great combo for me. But yeah, I love this look. I think it more aligns with me. I think, you know, as you can see, my glasses are brown. The lip gloss is brown. You know, I really like brown. So yeah, I just hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is my recap of season 1. I didn't quite go over the side characters and stuff like that, but I'll go over them in maybe a separate video just for them. But we're focusing on the main characters now. Yeah, the side characters though, Karen McCluskey, very funny, hilarious. The boys, messy as hell, bad as hell. They do not listen, and they like torturing their mommy. Those are the next boys. Julie is funny because Julie be chewing Susan up. She said, "Mom, when was the last time you had sex?" And it's kind of like, girl, why are you telling your 12-year-old daughter about your sex life? But also like Julie kind of eats. Danielle and Andrew. First of all, Danielle's kind of like very annoying this season, but Andrew, menace. Andrew got menace. He don't play. He's sassy, he's ready, and he's messy. Very messy. He's actually like kind of mean to his mom at this point, you know. And that's like because Gabby, you know, they don't want no kids, but she was rocking with a little boy, and it's just, I don't like that. Because she would be bouncing between him and Carlos, and then Carlos would be like, "Yo, Gabby, this little boy's not doing his job. Like, this lawn is not full. The lawn is not full." She can get him drunk at a party to come back to me. Like, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. Bye. Can't focus on